WRC Safari Rally 2025. Revisha and feel the roar.
Koatochin eng logoiwekab emet kong'ete Kass TV ole nesomanun kwane Bernard Tanoi kimite ak Naomi Cherotich eng kebeberta nebo kabarunoik. Ko ngetaune logoiwek chetinye ak tetutik chebo ripsetab kalyet ole kaindochi minista nebo ripsetab kalyet eng emet orit Kipchumba Murkomen igorta nebo lumdaetab karishek chelelach chebo luget chenootin ko armored vehicles kakiyai koratak eng kebeberta nebo GSU headquarters eng Nairobi ole kamwa Murkomen kole bendi karishek chata kotoreti eng ripsetab kalyet mising ko eng komoswek chikotestai kobitune terchinoshek ak kabokchinoshek kobotogei ine ak sirindet neo eng ministry nebo ripsetab kalyet Dr. Raymond Omolo ak Inspector General nebo Police Douglas Kanja.
This modernization program is in line with the desire of this administration to ensure that there is a bottom-up development in the country. And when we talk about bottom-up, it is to make sure that the grassroots are well prepared to host and to protect the investment and development that is happening across the country. This modernization program is done in a context. It's in the context of our security situation and our strategic position as a country. We live in a nation that is surrounded by a number of countries that are struggling with various challenges of security. We all know the challenges that our neighbors in Somalia, in southern part of Ethiopia, in Sudan, southern Sudan, and all these challenges are posing a threat to our national security, especially in the pastoralist and far-flung areas. As to ensure that we secure this nation further and to make sure that our officers are protected from a few criminal elements that may be wanting to harm the citizens and harm also officers who are providing cover for law and order, the government of Kenya put in place a modernization program under the leadership of President William Ruto, which program has been implemented in the last 2.5 years to make sure that the equipment that is used by our police officers are modern. And that is why you see the MRAPs here we are launching. And this is part of a continuation of a program. This is not the first set of these MRAPs. This is a continuation of a program that was launched last year. And because of the program that was put in place for the last 2 years, you have seen that the criminal elements, particularly those who are operating in areas in northern part of the country, including the Kerio Valley region, as particularly on the challenge of cattle rustling and banditry, was significantly scaled down. In fact, research shows that we have reduced the problem of banditry by 70% as a result of this investment. And I want to congratulate the National Police Service led by the Inspector General of Police and our officers for doing a fantastic job to make sure that we have significantly reduced this menace of banditry. I want also to recognize that in line with this program, we continue to put in place measures and mechanisms to ensure that we train our officers. The officers that are going to be operating this equipment, the officers who are going to operate on the field are well prepared and trained to make sure that they confront the challenges of this time.
Ngeba county noton nebo Elgeyo Marakwet ole tetat konyor keljin sukulishekab primary eng county nebo Elgeyo Marakwet kobun kibagengeitab Cereal Growers Association nebo kokimitetab kolsetab marakwek chenaat kou Nyota Beans eng imbarenikab sukulishek chotok. Kamwa governor nebo Elgeyo Marakwet Wesley Rotich kole wendi kotoret notok eng oleo eng kakwautiet notok eng sukulishekab emoni. Eng report nebo Andrew Kimeto.
Kagoityi koshinet serikalitab county nebo Elgeyo Marakwet koboto kibagengeitab Cereal Growers Association eng tokyinetab kekimit chong'indab amitwogik mising ko eng kwenutab kabatik chebo ng'wony anan small scale holder farmers. Kong'ololi yekangondeni siet kayonchinet noto komwa governor nebo county nebo Elgeyo Marakwet Wesley Rotich kole tetutyonoto kora Kotetat kikochi sukulishekab primary eng county noto marakwek che naat ko Nyota Beans asikokol sukulishechoto ne eng let kotes chong'indab amitwogik eng kipsomaninik.
So we want to appreciate them, and also the other final thing that we have agreed with them is that they continue training our officers with the latest information on markets, latest information on inputs, latest information on agronomy, and they have agreed that they will also have them in one meeting, train our agricultural officers, veterinary, livestock, cooperatives, and even our ward administrators, so that they can be able to be talking to farmers. Anytime they talk to farmers, they are talking to farmers from an informed perspective, because that is the missing link in wealth creation policy, where information is not getting to the intended persons, and training does not get to the intended people. So CGA program is actually going to bridge that gap, and we will work together as Elgeyo Marakwet County and CGA to ensure that the farmer of Elgeyo Marakwet smiles all the way to the bank.
Kosubkei ak ofisayat neo nebo kibagengenoto bo Cereal Growers Association eng emoni Dr. Osie Moses Mwanje komwa kole tindoi kibagengenoto maket neo nebo kokochi naet kabatik eng county nebo Elgeyo Marakwet asikowal ortinwek checham koboisie eng kabatisiet ak koboisie ortinwek chebo kasari cheimuch konyorune borotet nemitei barak.
We have been here since 2014, and one of our pillars in CGA is to do what we call farmer advocacy. We look at transferring technologies. Currently, if you look at our country, there's been some impacts of climate change. Like now, there's been no rainfall for some months. And Elgeyo Marakwet has got 3 agricultural zones. Some have got some dry areas, some are in very good high potential areas. And as CGA, we have come here to work with the smallholder farmers so that we can enable them to get information, get technologies which can make them produce, not just for consumption, but even for the markets, and even to sell and have money in their pockets.
Kailos alak eng kabatik chekaboto Edwin Kipruto kakwautyonoto chekamwa kole wendi noto kokanaptoi tetutikwai chebo kabatisiet.
Mimi kama mkulima kutoka Kaptarakwa nilifunzwa mradi wa Nyota Beans na kikundi cha CGA. Imetusaidia sisi kutoka Elgeyo Marakwet County kupanda maharagwe hii ambaye iko na zinc pamoja na iron. Najua itasaidia watoto wetu kwa mashule, kwa maugonjwa kama rickets na polio. Hakuna mtoto ambaye atasema akuli maharagwe, sababu hii maharagwe haina any acidity, iko na iron na zinc.
Koete county nebo Elgeyo Marakwet, logoiwekab emet chebo Kass, kainenyu ko Andrew Kimeto.
Ketesetai ko kakotet anan tindoi tetutik che serikali noton nebo kokimit kabatisiet nebo chaik ak kahawek eng emet asikonyorchigei keljin kabatik kou ole kikatet serikali eng manifesto nenywa nebo Kenya Kwanza kong'ololi eng tuyet nekayai ak kandoik kobun bunge nebo
The Kenya Kwanza administration was elected on the basis of a manifesto. That manifesto requires us to ensure that we increase incomes and the value to farmers and other players in the coffee sector. The value has gone up. What it means, therefore, is that we could have much more earnings as a country if we increase the area under production and also increased the yield per bush. The target is to escalate it from where it is at the moment, 2 kilograms per bush, to 10 kilograms per bush by 2027, in accordance with the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto.
Kosubkei ak walutikab ng'atutik chetinyegei ak sekta inoto kokamwa kole ng'ololchindos ak bunge nebo Senate asikochokchi kasuldaetab ng'atutichoto.
One of the biggest enablers to the reforms we seek to see in this sector is the legislative initiatives that have already been taken. The coffee bill and the cooperative bill, because the two of them are interlinked, must be finalized as soon as possible. I will be able to push through the remaining part by convening the role players, especially the Senate, to ensure that we conclude that process and unlock the reform package that we are looking at between the coffee bill and the cooperative bill.
karirtae kandoik kibagengeit nebo AFA kole maisuldae boisienwa eng oret netogunot.
On direct sales, we seem to have a dark silo at AFA. The information on direct sales, which actually is supposed to give our farmer a premium price over what is attained at the Nairobi Coffee Exchange. The information is only known by the leadership of the cooperatives and AFA. There is still failure to adhere to the timelines of 5 days in terms of the cash hitting the farmers' accounts. Number two, there is a gray area in terms of the breakdown of the statements of the payments into the farmer's account.
Kayamis Kindiki kole wendi koisto serikali kaimutik chetakonyoru kabatikab chaik ak kawek eng kasarta nealdoi rurutikwak.
There are issues of transparency which we need to work on, and one area we must firm up is the area of ensuring that the deductions done at cooperative level do not again deny farmers their sweat. There is need for openness there. Secondly, there is need for openness from AFA. We need to integrate coffee trade and coffee sales, whether direct sales or through the auction, so that we have one source of truth, one source of data, and that visibility should be available to all the players, including farmers.
Aripotenchini Kass logoiwekab emet eng county nebo Nairobi, kainenyu ko Samson Kurgat.
Ko noto ko report nebo Samson Kurgat kotinygei ak rubeiwotab president noto ko Kithure Kindiki nekayai tuyet ak MPs chebunu komoswek chekole kawek koboto chaik nekayai eng ofisinyi nemite Karen eng Nairobi ole kamwa kole tesetai serikali kokimiti sekta noto nebo kawek ak chaik asi konyor keljin kobotikab emoni. Ketesetai ko kayai tuyet benkitab NCBA koboto benkitab KRA ak benkitab Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops koboto kibagengeisiek 100 chebo kanisa asikong'alale ng'atutiet nekitoi serikali ole magat eng kanisosiek kolipan aisurusiek konamgei ak kelchinoik chenyorune mung'arosiek cheisuldoen ichek. Kamite tuyonoto director nebo corporate banking eng benkitab NCBA Tyrus Mwithika koboto kiyogindetab pop eng emoni Abatas Van Megen ak ofisaek chebunu benkitab Kenya Revenue Authority KRA.
Today we're here with the faith-based organizations. NCB, as part of its institutional banking, provides coverage over a wide range of faith-based organizations across many denominations. The largest of them is the Catholic Church. And today we have been having an engagement on negotiating the evolving tax compliance regime. There's a very fundamental piece of legislation that was released last year, Legal Notice 105 of 2024, that imposes certain obligations regarding the exemptions that a lot of these organizations were enjoying in the past. Many of them run some side activities beyond their religious or charitable activities. Many of them run schools, hospitals, sometimes for profit, so that they then can generate an enduring sort of income flow. And so the tax regime has shifted, and today was a very good conversation to expose the issues that are there, how they might get help to negotiate it, both from our bank, from KRA itself, and from the tax consultants that we have.
Inside information in the new tax legislation and rules, especially on exemptions of tax, which of course affects many of the religious congregations. And I think it was also very good that the representative of KRA was here to give a bit more of background on how to manage, in a sense, your financial administration so as to be eligible for exemption of taxes. And I would also like, therefore, to encourage all the religious congregations to put their house in order so as not to lose their exemption. Well, you know, as I mentioned already, it means that as churches, generally speaking, are active in mission work, in charitable works, in hospitals, in education, therefore they have a right to exemption, but always according, if you play it according to the rules. And I think that is very important, that congregations organize themselves like that as a church also, so as to be eligible for that exemption. And I think that is where this forum, this day of today, was very helpful and very handy in giving some more information, and also in encouraging the different representatives of the different churches to go through their administration and through their documentation in order to present the right documents to KRA in case they would like to file for exemption.
Eng komasta age ko kagomwa Principal Secretary nebo Energy Alex Wachira kole makchinigei Ministry nebo Energy rabinik billion 1.3 eng supplementary budget nebo aeng nebo kenyitab 2024 agoi kenyitab 2025 chekiboisien eng tetutik chebo letaitab sitimet eng emet. Kong'ololi eng taitab committee nebo National Assembly noton nebo Energy, komwa Wachira kole kokotet tetutik chechang chemagat kosuldae kibengeitab REREC ole mokotin rabinik chebo roptaitab sitimet, ole kamwa CEO nebo REREC Rosalind Makamala kole tindoi REREC anan imuchi REREC koyai boisionik oeng anan projects oeng kityo eng constituencies age tugul kosubkei ak nemayome rabinik. Akot kounotok komoche MP noton nebo Chepalungu Victor Koech Mandazi kisuldae tetutik chebo roptaitab sitimet eng constituencies eng kergeindo, eng mwaet kole mitei constituencies chenyoru rabinik chechang kosir alak.
3 weeks ago, we had invited you to the signing ceremony of Kenya Off-Grid Solar Access Project, where we did sign the contracts for the construction of 113 mini-grid. COSAP, we had 2.05 million shillings that had been approved. It has now been cut down to 150 million shillings. That is not adequate for KPLC to pay advance payment, and we want to request this committee to help us, that we at least KPLC confirms that they can be able to absorb 1 billion shillings in terms of advance payment, and so therefore we request an addition of 850 million.
We still find constituencies, rural constituencies, not comparing at all with the town constituencies. You find a constituency in rural constituencies like myself in Chepalungu, and maybe my neighboring constituencies in Bomet, Kericho, the North Rift, being below 20% in connectivity. While in urban constituencies, you find that their connectivity is way above 90%. Meaning, we all fight for one budget. While we fight for connectivity, they fight for street lighting and so many other things, which means our priorities have to be aligned by ourselves. As we look into Northeastern, we should also, as an house, ourselves now as members, together with the ministry. And I believe the ministry has the data. Why don't you use this particular data to determine the amount of budget that goes to each constituency based on its connectivity, rather than having a wholesale budget saying this budget, for example, 8.7 billion, and we all fight for the same budget without considering these constituencies that are way below their connectivity. Why can't we act? And this goes further into many other departments, like roads. You find a constituency that is far much developed, getting a budget of 13 billion in one financial year, while a constituency that is in the rural constituencies get less than 100 million. Then you tend to think that we are not in the same country. Yeah. Others zero. Others even zero. You tend to think that we're serving the same government, but as they say, there are far much better animals than the other animals.
When you look at what is happening currently, there is a lot of need. Members of Parliament and other stakeholders are coming to us requesting for more projects. The amount of money we have in the budget currently is allowing us to do between 1 and 2 projects per constituency. but the need is higher than 1 to 2 projects. So we are requesting for the 50 million per constituency if it can be reinstated. The other issue, Chair, that I would want to bring to the attention of the committee is on the issue of electrification of off-grid areas. I know we signed COSAP, and within COSAP, we are going to do together with KPLC 113 mini-grids.
We have issues with maintenance of these off-grid stations, and unless something is done, then it is going to be a big problem. It will look like the solar installations that we have for schools, that we did solar installations and less than 10% of these solar installations are maintained.
Eng let ko katach logoiyotab kongoi Dr. Jane Mwikali Makau na ine ko nebo ngecheret eng kibagengeit noton nebo Betting Control and Licensing Board BCLB kobun kompunitab BankBet kosubkei ak nekokikochi konunotiot eng noton nebo 2025 Africa Gaming Expo nekokiyai eng emetab Nigeria. Katach Dr. Makau konunotiot nebo Regulatory Alliance Award 2025 amu eng boisionik chik eng BCLB koboto tetutik chik eng kanabtaitab kasubetab ng'atutik eng emoni ak Africa komugul kosubkei ak kandoinatetab Dr. Makau ko kokeboisie Kenya eng kanetutik chetinye ak urerietab bahati nasibu ako boisie noto BankBet kowekchi ine kongoi eng kanabtaitab kasubetab ng'atutik eng ureriet eng emetab emoni mising ko eng sekta noto nebo ureriosiek chebo keljinet anan bahati nasibu. Ko ako yotok ko kakibochityo logoiwekab emet chekaitun eng nguni kobate tegemitei ak tondet kanyo notok ko Henry Rob Cheptirgei ne inendet ko Administrative Secretary eng ofisitab Governor eng county nebo Uasin Gishu. Ole kamitei ng'oliot nebo let Cheptirgei nekemoche ketekemwa notok nebo bandaptai eng Uasin Gishu ko kemwoe ile takochang boisionik chetoyoe ko amu eng kasarta ko eng nwokindo kityo ko ne choto oyoe ako site inyoru kasarta age nebo inyo iaroru.
Bas kongoi Bernard. Kitinye kityo Uasin Gishu kokilumda nekile Uasin Gishu Diagnostic Center nemuch kebimane MRI konyor biik MRI, CT scan, X-ray, ultrasound ak lab. Nekatiwendi sipitalishek chabo private ku St. Luke's ano cha tugul life care keiteje Uasin Gishu so koek affordable eng biik tugul chebo konet age tugul nebo Uasin Gishu. Bernard kitinye arambe eng kokwet nekile Chepkoyo ngabarab chumba kama keldet eng mama nekikibeti kiyoche koyotok 3.2 million. Ko kasome biik chok tarik 9 ko kandoik tugul ngetoret kayatak akobwa sikobit nyiketoret sikobit ketoret bichotok sikonyor mpendwa nenywa sikobit kechop ng'alekab mashishi tom kechop amu bili nako nebo kwengut. Nebo aeng kitinye director Munyo ne governor Ketiplong notok Ketiplong primary ketinye Thanksgiving neikoini chief of staff nenyolu kokonech. So ngakat bichu kityo ngonat chawe mi chi nekele Kendu, Jovirono, Samani, Mararen, Mebur, Rocky aka Jebanga, Bonanza, David Boyop Kok, Siraj Letengwa, Semberiet, Luti moja kubun Keses ak Steven nebo Timbayat, Chiroch, Wilson Chepkoya ak Wilson nebo Kapkeles. Kongoi mising biikab Kass TV. Betut age tonyo sikobit nyikiaror bandab tai. Kikili eng boisionik kakile nguzo 10 miaka ni 10 bila break.
Eng dakikayat agenge kemwa kobo Harambee. Mitei ng'oliot nebo SHA tesetai serikali kokimiti ako mwae kole mache kole takiisto ng'alekab Harambee kekanapta konyoiset konyor chi tugul. Tos une ng'oliondo nebo SHA kemwa ile ngosirgei biik?
Kero SHA nguno kokwalen aro SHA ko biik yo Kenya kenga makitinye tate nini chechang chebo ko SHA ing private hospital uyo ile SHA kolipanun 30 shilling uyo yani mpaka kolipanun 30 ilipani 70. Lakini SHA ngeba public hospitals kulipani 70 shillings ilipani 30 so kinemi ongetilge ak lipan SHA toreti biik SHA ger nguno ku bilini koistowe karibu nekit 200,000 SHA so koyetei nebo kung'ut so ete biik SHA toreti biik ako toretin motoreti serikali inyendet raia sirgei ngotomo isirgei ibisirgei chito iwe SHA ko kararan nebo kwang'ut akobo chito amake arambe ngotun kenai make arambe kongoi mising biikab Kass TV ako kongoi kastoikyok tugul chebo Kalenjin mie
Kongoi mising noto ko Henry Roba Cheptirgei ne ine ko Administrative Secretary eng ofisitab Governor eng county nebo Uasin Gishu nekakororwech tuguk chechang kotinygei ak kandoinatet, kibagenge, ng'alekab SHA ak tetutiet noto nebo devolution ak boisionik choto chebo county nebo Uasin Gishu kotatun ketoche inendet kokeny asikobit koarorwech eng koindo akobo boisionik cheterter chetindoi serikalitab Uasin Gishu koboto kandoinatet ak kibagenge eng emetab Kenya. Ko nekomite tuwai eng betutab raini kwane Bernard Tanoi kokimite ak Naomi Cherotich eng kebeberta nebo kabarunoik amakun kit age tugul nemie testai iger Kass TV amu kimnotet naet.
With the WRC Safari Rally 2025, Revisha and feel the roar.